Hey, good morning guys. Rob with Mitten State Bushcraft. You know, there's a lot of discussion about gear all the time, all over social media, on YouTube. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what I carry when I go out into the woods. Stay with me. The basis of the gear that I carry surrounds the 5 C's of survival. We have cutting, combustion, cordage, container, and cover. I'll go through those. Okay, the first thing would be cutting. A simple sheath knife. This is my Mora HD. Pretty soon to be carrying my own, but I normally carry this. I carry a Schrade OT25 Alaskan Trapper. I've had this forever. I carry a pocket knife with speed assist opening. This is a Kershaw Oso Suite. I normally carry up to 3 to 5 knives. It might seem overkill, but you never know. Some of those knives are in my bag and they're used for tools. They're cheaper knives, or you know, if I lose them or I break them, it's not a big deal. So the other thing that I carry for cutting is I carry a takedown buck saw, and I carry either an axe or a hatchet. Moreover, the hatchet, because it's less weight and I don't really have to fell any large trees. And most of the wood that I process is smaller, so you know, a hatchet will serve me well. Next on that list would be combustion. A ferro rod in conjunction with a Bic lighter. This is a Coghlan's. You can get it for like $5 at Walmart. This one is a Midwest Woodcraft. It's 1/2 inch by 5 inch, I believe. Kevin Johnson over at Midwest Woodcraft makes and sells these. So check those out if you're interested in a larger ferro rod. Midwest Woodcraft. And of course, with combustion comes your tinder. And I carry it in this plastic waterproof bag. And in here I have, wow, I have birch bark, I have some fat wood in here, I have some char cloth, cedar shavings, and what used to be a feather stick, parts of a feather stick. And I even have some hardened pine sap that I use. And of course, you can have your homemade tinders with your petroleum jelly and cotton balls. That's what this is. Now, this is dual purpose. You know, first aid ointment, whatever, lip balm, what have you. But primarily it's a fire starter. It's a tinder and an extender. And then obviously you have your bought things like the Yuko stormproof, windproof matches, and then the Sweet Fire that I had a review on just the other day. So I carry more than what I need, and I don't always carry all of this at the same time. I switch things out depending on need, depending on, you know, what the adventure is. But you know, I subscribe to the 2 is 1, 1 is none belief. So I always have multiple ways of making fire. I have multiple cutting tools, and so on. Next would be cordage, whether that be paracord, bank line, jute twine, which again, jute twine doubles as a fire starting material. I tend to fluff this up and use it as tinder. I make a bird's nest out of it and start fires. But obviously you need cordage, and whether you want to spend the time to make natural cordage out in the field, or you want to carry ready-made cordage like paracord or bank line, that's up to you. You could use spruce roots and stuff like that, thistle, and things found in nature. But I tend to carry ready-made cord, so I don't have to spend the time doing that. Now, if I'm spending longer time, you know, out there, I might toy around when making natural cordage and everything, but 9 times out of 10 I carry my own cordage. Now, the next thing is a container. Obviously, you have your Pathfinder water bottle here, 32 ounces. and then your cup that goes along with it. Okay, that would be sufficient for most people. It's sufficient for me most times when I'm out there. When I really am out there for longer than one day or even an overnight, I tend to bring my little stainless pot. And I found this stainless pot at a yard sale. I think I paid $1 for it. And what I did was I ended up taking a coat hanger and making a baling wire. So when I have, you know, my tripod or what have you, I can hang it off a pot hook and cook it, or I can just stick it right in the flame. But what's interesting about this is I always rocked a Boy Scout mess kit, and I've had this for a really long time and it's gotten a lot of use. So what I did was, so I can carry this and have all my things in here, I put my spices in here. I'll take a bag of rice or ramen or, you know, whatever. But I pack this with as much stuff as I can. But what I've done here is I've taken the Boy Scout mess kit and I flipped over the handle on the frying pan portion to use it as a locking lid. So it's a locking mechanism made from the handle. Now when I'm using this, I just flip the handle back over, and obviously I use this as a frying pan. But also what I carry in here is I carry a cup. This is my favorite camp cup, by the way. You know, Cookses are nice and everything. I don't have one. I'd really like to have one because I just like it. It seems bushcrafty to me, you know what I mean? And I'd like to make one. I just haven't gotten around to making one. But I also carry my aluminum plate in here. My aluminum dish. So everything fits neatly inside. And like I said, I carry my spices in here. You know, maybe a bag of rice, a soup mix, ramen, what have you. Obviously my spork. I carry one of those plastic Light My Fire sporks. It's as simple as that. And obviously containers can be a lot of other things too. You can make them homemade. You could buy more expensive things. It doesn't have to be expensive. Like I said, I repurposed this small steel pot that I bought at a yard sale, you know, a while ago, and it does the job. I don't know how many meals and pots of soup in camp that I've cooked in this thing. It's perfect size for me, another person. Actually, one of the last outings we had in the fall, my daughter and a good friend of mine were out there, and we made a nice pot of soup with this, and we had plenty left over. We actually ended up feeding it to the dog afterwards, so it's plenty big enough. The next thing I want to talk to you about is cover. Cover includes the clothes that you're wearing, so choose wisely. Obviously in colder weather you want to layer. You want to layer anyway. You know, nights can get cooler, the days can get warmer, you want to be able to shed clothes. But one of the things that I do, I don't have an expensive tarp. I plan on upgrading here soon to probably a DD tarp, maybe even a tarp tent. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided what I want to do. But don't quote me on the cost, but I think these are less than $10. It's just a small tarp from Harbor Freight. I mean, I think it's a 7x9 tarp, and I use this many nights in the woods. And it does fairly well, even in the wintertime. Now, you can also pick these up. These are the moving blankets from Harbor Freight. And they're inexpensive. This one was free because it was given to me. But they're not very expensive at all. Well, I couple that with, this is one of the more expensive things I own, to be honest with you. This was a gift. It's a climate sleeping pad. You know, with my back and hip issues, it was pretty important that I get something like this. But moreover, I'm starting to get really interested in hammock camping. This is a High Hopes hammock, local Grand Rapids, Michigan company. They also have a charitable organization. You should check them out, highhopes.com, and see what their mission is. But this year I'm going to be using this a lot more often and getting up off the ground, because part of my health problems happen to be in my back and in my hip. And the more that I sleep on the ground, the more issues that I have. Now that's not an exhaustive list of what I carry. Obviously I supplement all these things with first aid, with headlamps and flashlights, etc. I carry a sport clot, a package of sport clot, with a military IFAK with a tourniquet ready to use. And yes, I have training with a tourniquet, and I have training in first aid, but there's other things. The reason for this video is I want to explain to people that it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. This is a Molly 2 ruck. Okay, it's a medium Molly 2 ruck. Surplus. You know, I don't remember how much it cost me, but it didn't cost that much. I mean, it's got pretty good shoulder padding. It's got the waist belt on it. You know, it doesn't have to cost a lot. And before I use this, I use the medium Alice, and it has the enhanced shoulder harness and pads. These are also from a Molly. It's got the wide waist belt on them. You can get this surplus, you know, less than 50 bucks in most places. I carry a Sawyer mini filter, water purification. You know, I carry a whole lot of things, and sometimes it's overkill. I don't even need to carry most of this stuff. But basically that's what it is. You know, there's in the wintertime, I usually pull a sled, and I carry an extreme cold weather sleep system, military surplus, and it's got the big heavy bag, and it's got an outside waterproof bivvy. Obviously a little too heavy for me to ruck in, but like I said, I pull a sled usually in the wintertime when I do winter camping, and a lot of the gear gets, you know, put in the sled, and I pull it so that it doesn't make. But in the summertime, you know, I don't have to take a sleeping bag, you know, more often than not. You know, and I have my wool blanket here. I take this. This keeps me, you know, warm. Use it as a bedroll or what have you, and that's sufficient in the summertime. Last year we had gone out, and super hot weekend, just super hot weekend. We couldn't cool off enough. I guarantee you we drank probably 50 gallons of water that weekend. It was pretty hot. I didn't want anything touching me. I barely wanted my clothes on, and I'm sure you've all been there. We took a dip in the creek. You know, we filtered and boiled our water, and you know, that weekend was really difficult weekend. It was a bad weekend for camping, to be honest. And it was super buggy too. So, but that's an overview of the things that I carry. I mean, your mileage may vary. I mean, you might decide that you don't even want half of the stuff that I carry. Then again, you might want more. You might want to carry a, you know, 50, 60 pound ruck, and I've done that, and that's not fun. And I'll tell you, the lighter weight you can go, the better off you are. Once you do it for a while, you do decide to upgrade to lighter weight. You start paying more attention to the lighter weight items, even though they're a little bit more expensive. But my whole point is this that it doesn't need to be expensive. We tend to pay $1,000 for an iPhone these days. I mean, if you can afford a $1,000 iPhone, you can afford to go camping. So I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when somebody gets into that discussion with me about how much things cost, but then, you know, they have a $1,000 iPhone. So don't let the cost restrict you from getting outside. So once again, I want to thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, Please subscribe, like, and share, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video.